Chengdu is the gateway city of southwest China, known as the Land of Abundance. It sits on the Chengdu Plain, blessed with abundant produce.
Chengdu has always been open and welcoming, with a history stretching back thousands of years. Its vibrant street life has been part of its soul.
Absolutely delicious. When people visit Chengdu, real friends take them straight to a real local hole in the wall.
Coming, number 26.
Chengdu's food is deeply rooted in human connection. Dohua with Sanzi. Families often keep coming to the same shop for generations. Most of the regulars know each other.
I work here every day. It's exhausting, honestly, but I love it.
This shop brings people together. It's the kind of place that makes everyone feel at home.
They've worked with me for decades. I never replace my crew. The taste can't change.
Across Chengdu's streets and alleyways, we have pork intestine rice noodles, crispy pork noodles, and tofu pudding. As we savor these local favorites, we're also tasting the stories of countless people.
You're so early. These days, we're usually up around 5 in the morning. We're at the shop by about 5:50 a.m. Unlock the doors and get the broth going. One small bowl of knotted intestine soup. I am Zhubi Qiang.
As the city has evolved, many local favorites are no longer sold as they once were. Step into Fuqin Market, and you'll still find the most authentic, lively, pork intestine rice noodle shop. It's tucked in among the meat counters, produce stalls, and spice vendors. This is city life at its most vibrant.
Ms. Zhu, one bowl of noodles for me, extra spicy and numbing.
Coming right up.
And extra intestines. Make one for my mom too.
Okay. Ping, your noodles are up. Extra spicy with scallions.
Come grab some vegetables for lunch today.
Thanks.
So I can call it a day.
Thanks.
Ms. Zhu has been running this shop for over 30 years. Lasting decades in a wet market is definitely no easy feat. After all, wet markets are for locals nearby. They know exactly which vendors offer the best quality and value. And the taste of food has to earn their trust too.
Long time no see.
I'll have a small bowl of rice noodles.
Sure. Here you are. Enjoy. Take your time.
Will do.
Take your time.
Absolutely delicious. With such a large population, Chinese cuisine makes full use of every ingredient.
My father learned this craft from my grandfather. At 12, he was already carrying a shoulder pole. And learning from my grandfather, my father told me that we must use fresh ingredients. The intestines we use come from pigs butchered just after 1 a.m. When they arrive, I still clean them the old-fashioned way, a handful of salt, scrubbing and rinsing again and again. That's what gives them their clean flavor. Fresh and fragrant.
Great pork intestine rice noodles. Start with noodles made fresh on the spot. It's tough work in the heat. The batter has to be dropped from the right height so it stretches into thin strands and sets in the boiling pot. She has to work over the stove, pounding the batter by hand, surrounded by steam and heat. It demands both strength and stamina. Most people couldn't handle it. Making sweet potato noodles is hard work. It takes serious arm strength.
Look at them, almost as thick as somebody else's thighs.
Indeed.
After making noodles for 17 or 18 years, my body started breaking down. I developed bone spurs in my neck, knees, and lower back. The doctor told me I must stop making these noodles. If I kept going, I might end up unable to walk. It got so bad that I could barely climb stairs. That's when my family decided to let the business go. Letting go of the shop was heartbreaking. I rested for a few years and mostly recovered. As they say, once the wound heals, you forget the pain. Once I was better, I wanted back in. Many customers greeted me, saying, "The boss lady's back." I was born in the year of the ox. Sitting around at home just isn't me. I work here every day. It's exhausting, honestly, but I love it. Great grapes. Let me sneak one. Whenever things quiet down, I head downstairs and chat with the vendors. When there's a line, my son yells, "Come help, we're slammed." He rushes me back. We get lots of customers from Hong Kong.
Zhu Bicheng?
Yes, that's me.
It's you?
Yes,
Can we get a photo with you?
sure.
Photos and autographs are free.
Customers come in, have a bowl, and head out. They thank me and say it was delicious. They call it the best thing ever. Hearing that, it just makes me so happy.
So Beijing has its hutongs, Shanghai has its lilongs, and Chengdu has its maze of narrow alleys. In Sichuan we call them xiang-xiang-er.
Mom, I'm home. Picked up some fish. Red ones and speckled ones.
Where there are alleys, there are residents. And noodle shops are everywhere. Pan Long's Shangjiang Noodles sits tucked away in one of Chengdu's old alleys. At the end of the alley is his parents' old staff housing. Walk a few minutes the other way, and you're at Taiku Li and Chuanxi Road. Here, old and new face each other, yet somehow coexist in harmony.
My mom opened this little noodle shop in April 2018. After retiring, she just wanted to keep herself busy. Back then, we only had 2 tables here. Mostly, neighbors came by, they liked the food, and word gradually spread. People were coming from other cities.
Geographically, Chengdu is in southern China. But that doesn't stop Sichuan people from loving noodles.
Because of the limited sunshine here, the noodles aren't as chewy as those in northern China. That's one limitation, but flavor is where it shines.
So good. I'll recommend this.
In Chengdu, the toppings are where the real work goes. Chicken, duck, fish, and beef. Almost anything can be used as a noodle topping.
Number 26.
I'm starving. Pan, long time no see.
Good to see you.
Pan's signature dish is his crispy minced pork noodles. Plenty of people can cook this topping, but it often ends up dry and tough instead of crispy. Getting it right takes real skill. Once you toss it all together, it looks a bit like the classic dish ants climbing a tree.
Exactly.
Every bit of minced meat clings to the noodles, one bite in. You've got noodle flavor, meat flavor, and all the seasoning.
Yes, that's exactly it. Before opening this shop, I was a DJ for about 10 years. When I was on stage, playing music while everyone danced, with the whole place buzzing, it was more than just fun. It gave me a sense of accomplishment. My friends and I spent 4 years building a club from the ground up. I installed all the sound equipment myself. Not long after we opened, problems came up between my partners and me. In the end, I had no choice but to walk away. That was a huge blow to me. I spent more than 6 months at home, lost, barely going out.
We were worried he'd stay miserable at home, so we kept encouraging him to come back and help out at the noodle shop. The family feeling is wonderful, and so is the neighborhood. I just wanted to get him out. We all told him, just get outside and stop feeling down. After a lot of talking, he started to come around and feel better.
Look at the time, still playing mahjong?
After 4, about time.
Mom, have some water.
There's something special about Pan's family noodle shop. On some days, there are more neighbors helping out than actual employees. They stop by in the morning to prep vegetables and help take care of customers during the rush. After lunch, they might keep prepping ingredients for dinner or gather around a table for a game of mahjong. Scenes like this are becoming rare in Chengdu.
Don't, you've cut yourself.
I'm fine. Honestly, when I first came back, I was basically a zombie. I had no motivation for anything. I kept asking myself, is music the only thing I'm good at? Can I really not live without music? The neighbors who watched me grow up kept encouraging me and helped pull me out of that low point, little by little. Then I realized something. If I could make music work, Then with noodles, I could make this work too. At first, my mom handled the crispy pork topping. Later on, people started saying I'd surpassed her. Mom, it's ready.
Crispy.
Good, right?
Not bad. Listen to that crunch.
That's when I finally came out of that confusion and the lowest period of my life. Now, when I have free time, I still play music with friends. Music used to be my job. Now I run a noodle shop, so I can simply enjoy music for what it is. That's probably enough for today. Back for noodles? Sound good?
Sure.
Sure, next time then. Mr. Zhao, Ms. Zong, dinner's ready. Our courtyard has been here for more than 40 years. This shop is over 7 years old. Sometimes I think this place may be gone someday. All I can do is keep making the topping the best I can and make every bowl right. Come on, cheers. Have a great weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Little one, come here.
Look over here. Here. 3, 2, 1. Little one.
Chengdu is an incredibly inclusive city. Here, humble neighborhood eateries and refined cuisine thrive side by side.
Yezu, food's up.
So good.
People in Chengdu love street food. Before urbanization, most snacks were sold on the streets. People gathered in these places, and today's favorite foods were born.
Chengdu snacks are a lot like Chengdu people, resourceful and inventive. They can turn the simplest ingredients into something unforgettable. Back in times when food was scarce, a handful of soybeans would be soaked, ground, boiled, then set with brine. To make douhua or tofu pudding, it's a traditional, homemade food that nearly every family knows how to make. And serving it with rice was one of the warmest ways to welcome guests.
This shop has been passed down for more than 100 years. It keeps the old flavors alive and holds generations of shared memories.
So good.
Everyone at this table is a senior. All are seniors. Having a good chat. I'm the third generation at Tan Dohua, and my son is the fourth.
My name is Tan Gu. Gu means steadfast and strong. I remember my father talking to me about it once. The character stands straight and firm as the fourth generation, heir to the family business. He hoped I'd carry on the tradition with the same steadfast spirit my name represents and pass it on forever.
All the tables and chairs here have been around for decades, yet everything is spotless. This is so refreshing.
Perfect for summer, ice cold and incredibly silky.
Most of the staff here have been around for years. They watch Tan Gu grow up. Their presence helps keep the shop's traditions alive.
When I was a kid, I really hated what my parents did for a living. Whenever I woke up, my father was already gone. Later, I learned he was at the shop by 3 o'clock every morning. I'd see other parents taking their kids out for fun, so deep down, I resented this business. At times, I even hated it. I hated this business my parents were doing. Back then, I swore to myself that I'd never take over the family business. I wanted no part of it. At 14, I went to the National Sports Training Center in Qinhuangdao, Hebei to play soccer. After I turned 20, I retired from soccer and came back to Chengdu. In 2003, my father was diagnosed with acute cholecystitis, which led to sepsis. My mother couldn't manage the business. She couldn't look after the shops. She stayed at the hospital by his side. One day, my mother said, "Son, those 2 shops are counting on you now." For the first time, I felt the weight of responsibility on my shoulders. I started to feel that. At that very moment, the most important thing I could do was take on what worried them most. Spicy minced meat noodles. My mother guided me through it all. It took 3 years to go from knowing nothing to learning every part of the business. Soy milk's here. Get it boiling. Scallions, cilantro, garlic. Back in the 50s and 60s, 4 were cooking noodles at one stove, while my grandmother handled all the seasoning herself. To keep up with their pace, she'd hold 5 or 6 bowls in her left hand. It became one of our unwritten rules. Anyone in charge of seasoning had to be able to handle at least 5 bowls at once. Even now, I can still do 5. We've got countless regulars who've been coming here for decades. I hear so many stories every day. One day, I overheard a couple in their 70s. The husband held my parents' hands and said, "You know, Mr. Tan, we first met here in our 20s. It's where our love story began. Now we're in our 70s, and we've been eating here for 50 years, half a century." At that moment, what struck me most at that moment was that what my parents, my grandfather, and even my great-grandfather had spent their lives doing was worth it. I knew I had every reason to do it well and to keep it going.